Hello and welcome to a larger time frame SPX video. I was asked for an update on the SPX. I want to start briefly on the monthly and then we go to the daily time frame. Monthly, weekly, daily hasn't changed at all, so the overall assumption remains unchanged. The monthly chart helps us to identify where we are really in a multi-decade cycle, and my view is still that after this wave 2, larger degree wave 2 in 1932, we formed a 5-wave move up. Now, again, this is the monthly. It just gives you really the bigger picture. The monthly is not useful to call tops, but to understand if the risk is high and whether something similar could happen as it did in 2000, between 2000 and 2009, really. Yeah. This was a similar correction. Something similar could happen again, but on a much larger scale, because we're now talking about the next larger degree wave 4. This year was a sharp correction back in 1932, so this could be more of a sideways correction, but that would still involve a lot of serious downside, most likely. Yeah. So if we really talk about the bigger picture here, this would be seen as an A wave down, a B wave up, and a C wave down. That's one of the scenarios. So you see, it would unfold in very similar ways to this wave 4, which was the smaller degree, however. Okay, but that can take a decade. I mean, it is what it is. This nearly took a decade, and this would be a larger degree. So something to keep in mind. Of course, I mean, this is at the moment only showing one of the potentials. Another scenario is that this simply forms another 1-2 setup maybe here. Yeah? 1-2, and we could go up more directly. Definitely won't ignore that, but whether the correction is an A wave or a wave 2 will not really matter in the medium term. So we will have to pay attention to key pivots when this first decline starts. And then, we should then get some clarity along the way. But there is an alternative scenario that is more bullish, but it will be an alternative just for risk management purposes. Yeah. Now let us also take a look at the SPX weekly. You just see it in a little bit more detail here. Yeah, I mean, we can go. So hold on. So we can see it that way, that the bear market has already started. That is what I'm tracking actually on the smaller time frame in the so-called white scenario. So we could be already in a correction here, for example. That is not my preferred interpretation, however. Yeah, the interpretation is one more high. That's what I always say on the smaller time frame. So we can get that one more high. And in this scenario of one more high, this is an A wave up, this is a B wave down, this is a C wave up. So there will be this, there will be a support area for this yellow B wave when we start a pullback. Bear in mind, we've now rallied substantially from the April low, so the risk is again very high. There is a support area on the smaller time frame that we are tracking there. So yeah, and this could lead to one more high, potentially to 6,500, maybe even a little higher. So now let us take a look at the daily chart then. I'm going to go to the, or daily, or maybe 4 hour gives us a sufficient level of detail. So here you actually see this count. Let's go back to the weekly just to add it here. So this would be the yellow scenario, right? That helps us understand how the ABC structure is integrated. It would be in a scenario in which this is an ending diagonal pattern, in which we're currently working in a wave 5, which is an ABC structure. And there is a support area for yellow wave B, and that's currently preferred. Not needed though. So yeah, and basically the idea is that after the February high, we dipped into a support area for this wave 4. That was at the time, you might remember that, like the last chance to hold, to preserve a bullish scenario for maybe one more high. So, and we're doing that right now. The price held it. We have seen a 3-wave rally though from the April low, a 3-wave move up. So, but I'm covering that regularly in the micro counts. So it could be indeed in the white scenario just a corrective rally. We're already in a bear market, but as I said, it can also be the A wave in yellow, B wave correction, C wave up. So soon we should form a top here. start a B wave correction. The support area is currently here. Now that's only, it's a moving support area until we really have a top. It's between 5,076 and $5,555. And then this would likely be a B wave correction that could unfold, take the price into this support region over probably maybe even a month or so, and then start a C wave rally as long as we're holding 5,076. So we should be close to a local top there, but it takes a little bit more evidence to really confirm we're starting a pullback. I'll keep you updated. Hope that helps. That gives you a good idea about the larger degree structures and for context. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.